Ohio State will face Western Michigan as its Week 2 opponent inside Ohio Stadium on Big Ten Network at 7:30. First primetime game of the season for Ohio State. They are favored by 38 points. I'm Stephen Means. That's Stefan Krajisnik, and that's Andrew Gillis. And these are our game picks. Andrew, what you got?
Thank you, Stephen Means. I got Ohio State winning 48-7. I do think they're going to allow a touchdown. Dun dun dun. I think they're going to allow a touchdown this week, but I do think it's going to look a little bit more efficient. I think we're going to kind of have an inverse of what we had last week, where the beginning of the game you're kind of looking sluggish. You're kind of like wondering like what's going on here. They're not playing all that great. They're not going to lose, but what's going on? I think we're kind of going to have an inverse of that. I think Ohio State's going to jump out on Western Michigan pretty early. Ain't going to be no row the boat Western Michigan. It's going to be a pretty easy first half, I think, and then as we get into the second half, I think Ohio State's just kind of gonna cruise from there. So for me, I think Ohio State's going to look much more efficient this week. I think they're going to look much faster in the beginning of the game. I think last week there was almost some uncertainty of themselves. I think we saw that with some of the drops, some of the offensive line play. I think they're going to clean that up. I know the score might not reflect that, but I think when this offense is humming, I mean, if you put together, a 10-play, 80-yard drive that takes 7.5 minutes, there's only so much game time that you could play, right? It's not baseball. You can't just score infinitely. So I think Ohio State's going to win. I think it's going to look much cleaner and much more efficient than it did a week ago. They're going to win by 41 points.
So you've got them covering, but you've also got barely over. The over-under is 54 right now, so you're towing the line there in that situation. Okay, so I've come to a conclusion that I think this is going to be like the Toledo game, but also it's a different clock rules. And to your point, Andrew, all it takes is 1 6-minute drive because you gave up a first down. So Western Michigan's on the field that much longer, and that makes it that much harder to score 77 points the way you did against Toledo in 2022. So I've come to a conclusion, 55-3. Ohio State wins. That's an over, and Ohio State covers. And I think it makes the point of they start faster. They scored 52 points when they didn't start fast, right? So if they just start faster, they just get to 50 points quicker, but it doesn't change what the second half looks like. Maybe the fourth quarter goes by a little bit quicker, but I think you're going to see Devin Brown a little quicker on Saturday this week because there's an opportunity to get so, especially coming off a bye week. I understand that Will Howard's a first-year quarterback at Ohio State. He is a veteran within college football, but he's only been in this system for 9 months, and so he needs a lot of those snaps. But you have another game and a bye week to continue to get Will Howard comfortable. You also have to have your backup ready just in case something goes wrong. And I do think a game right before a bye week gives you an opportunity to do so where if we get Will Howard for 3 quarters, maybe Devin Brown just gets the entire fourth quarter to just see what he can do out there and actually run the offense. I'm just not sure how much of it is going to lead to points, given what I saw on a small sample size from Devin Brown against Akron, but then also what I got to see from Devin Brown going back to fall camp when we got to see those 5 early practices as well. So 55-3, Ohio State starts fast, jumps on them early, calls it a day, gets into their bye week, and we'll see them in 2 weeks. That's a cover, and it's an over for Ohio State. Stefan, what's your game score?
Yeah, I've got Ohio State winning this one 56-7. Like Andrew, I think they'll give up a touchdown, but I think we'll see the offense come out early, build a big lead, and then you'll see some of the backups in for the fourth quarter, and maybe the scoring slows down a bit there in the second half. But I think this is a Western Michigan team that I think that game against Wisconsin is probably more indicative of Wisconsin than it is Western Michigan.
Yeah,
they gave up 41 points to Iowa last year. That was Iowa in 2023. So yeah, I'm going with Ohio State putting up some points and getting a nice win. I believe that would be to cover and hit the over.
I think I might be low, but listen, I said over and cover, and I'm just going to live with it. I'm going to live with my choice. Also, both of these guys have Ohio State giving up a touchdown. I'm going to go on record right now. This is on video, so it's not just on the pod. It's on YouTube as well. Ohio State's not going to give up a touchdown until the third quarter of the Michigan State game. And it's going to be because they're going to be having some rotation guys out there. I made it very, very specific. Yes, I did. I'm marking it down. Ohio State does not give up a touchdown until the third quarter of the Michigan State game in 3 weeks. Those are our game scores, though. 3 covers, 3 overs, Ohio State, Western Michigan, 7:30, Big Ten Network, inside Ohio Stadium. If you're watching on YouTube, go watch the entire podcast wherever you find podcasts, wherever you find Buckeye Talk on podcasts, and get the text 614-350-3315. That'll wrap up our game preview pod here. Listen, you got to go get the other half of it. Go find us. Go find us on the internet. And if you're listening already on Buckeye Talk, thanks, guys. We appreciate you. Get the text 614-350-3315 for Stefan Krajisnik, for Andrew Gillis. I'm Stephen Means, and that was Buckeye Talk.